You know what that music means. You know it. You know it. You love it. That means it's time for the Don Lemon Show. Lemon Live at 5. Welcome, everybody. It's Friday. Oh, thank God it's Friday. And I just got paid. Who knows that song? Going cross town. Gonna pick up my lady. Have a little bit of wow, wow, wow. Anyways, that's how we do it here on the Don Lemon Show. What a week it has been. Welcome. Let me know where you're streaming from, where you're watching us from. I do, right? Was that was the OJs? Am I right? The OJs and the Isley brothers kind of cross over for me a little bit, but I think that was it. I think that was the same as I think that was the OJs. Anywho, we wore that. I don't know if it was 8-track or cassette out in our 1976 Cadillac Eldorado. We listened to the OJs, going to New Orleans from Baton Rouge. We thought we were big time. Okay, so what a week. Remember when we thought that Signalgate week was long and it like reeked, it was racked with chaos. We were like, oh my gosh, Signalgate, what are they doing? And then holy schmoly, hi Alabama, hi Florida, hi Ohio on TikTok, hi North Carolina, hi South Carolina, Cadillac Eldorado, nice. L-Dog, still great. Those doors were like, I mean, huge, enormous, because it was a 2-door. And the hood was longer than the entire rest of the car. So anyways, I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you so much. The Liberation Day tariffs, watched all that unfold and said, hold my beer. They said, hold my beer. And watch, TikTok is going to pick that up like I am promoting alcohol. Because anyway, we won't talk about that. So, remember Stefan? Do you guys remember Stefan? Stefan said, this week had everything. This week had everything. It had tariffs. It had a spiraling stock market. It had a Supreme Court decision. It had, well, Stefan talked about something in the middle of the river, but we won't talk about that because that's not a good thing. So tariffs, stock market implosion, economists, plane crashes, a war on penguins. So it's insane. So you can either laugh or you can cry. We choose to laugh on this show. And guess who's going to help us with that? Help us break down all this BS. From the week with me, that is very funny lady, stand-up comedian and author, Dulcé Sloan is here. Hey, boo.
Hi, friends.
How you doing?
Good. I've been seeing you since the Glenn Awards.
Oh, that's right. We were hanging out.
Yeah, I got nominated for my interview with my mother, Sasha Colby. I don't know if you know that I am a member of the House of Colby. Thank you so much. Her interview about being a happy trans person, and I lost to Jennifer Hudson. But to lose to Jennifer Hudson is to still win. So
it's that I would say that's a win. So anyway, congratulations on being nominated. It was very good with your mom, Dulcé.
Thank you.
We will always have a connection in history. Let me play it.
The media to tell us what your resolutions are, what your wish is for 2022.
You know what my resolution is?
Yes.
For 2022?
Yes.
No more broke, okay?
No more what?
No more broke. No more from a man that has no money.
Did you say broke?
Yeah. Oh.
See, because this is what happened. Y'all talk about the backstory, okay? So
wait, hold on, Dulcé. I was just noticing Allison's daughter was sitting there like,
like, oh my God, because she looked over, because she goes, my daughter. I was like, your daughter is in college. She needs to learn now. I said, also by looking at your outfit, your daughter's not going to be having these problems, right? So here's the thing. So you asked me, because this is when we came back from the commercial break. You asked me, thank you, Abby. Before the commercial break, you're like, what's your New Year's resolution? I was like, I don't really have one. And you leaned to me and went, you're going to have a New Year's resolution when we come back. And
I said that?
Yes. And you're like, and I was like, okay. And then I was like, well, what's truly on my heart? And so that's where I was in my journey as a person, because I was like, I can't continue to do these things. And so Because my friends know I've been saying it for years. And so I just tried to educate. When the Lord puts a ministry on your heart, Donald, you have to go out and spread the good news. And not everybody's going to be able to be receptive of that message. And there were a lot of men who borrowed their friends' phones to be mad at me on Twitter. And a lot of it was like, oh, she should be happy anyone's even talking to her. And I was like, if you think no one's having sex with plus size women, you are a moron. We have been keeping humans alive for thousands of years. But yeah, so you told me I had to have one. And I was like, well, if you really want to know what's on my heart, Darnisha, this is what's going on with the kid. Okay. This is the word that needs to be spread. And I did not know, because here's the thing. I forgot that there were 2 more time zones. So when I said it, I was like, well, we'd already had New Year's in New Orleans, so I thought we were done. I completely forgot about Mountain and Pacific time. And so I had to keep being on TV after I shared the good news that the Lord, after I shared the message that the Lord shared with me, okay? Because this is the thing. This isn't just an issue. This isn't just a women's issue, okay?
Yeah.
This is an issue for anyone who sleeps with men.
Okay. Oh, got it. That could be for a whole lot of different people. I got you. I feel you.
Because broke men will be in your house giving you the D that puts you to sleep so he has a place to sleep. So you have to be careful. You got to be careful. You think gay men aren't dealing with this? Of course they are. Some man rolling in his house. Listen, we're all dealing with broke men being in a house for too long. You at work while he's sitting up eating all your meats and cheeses. No.
Thank you, Dulcé, for that. Hey, Red Devil Raspberry, thank you, Red Devil Raspberry. Producers, keep that in. Don't put it up yet. We'll put it up a little bit later because I think you may be on to something. Dulcé, I love you. I love your authenticity. I love everything about you. I love that moment. That's when cable news was fun. Maybe it'll come back. Maybe you and I will have a New Year's moment together. Let's get to our sour lemons of the week, okay?
Okay.
First up is none other than Mr. Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary.
Oh, so many people. Okay. All right. We gotta hate Okay, we're mad at Lutnick. Tell the people what Lutnick did. Tell the people.
Okay.
Tell the people.
All right. Mr. Howard Lutnick, he has just been going on saying there. See, he has been. Here's what's happening. His advisors say one thing, meaning Donald Trump, and then Donald Trump comes out 5 minutes later and contradicts him. And they've been doing that ever since they've been doing this whole tariff thing. What? They've been saying, this is a plan all along. This is a plan all along. We're not going to postpone anything. We're not doing anything. That's never going to happen. And then, of course, Donald Trump contradicts him. Here's Howard Lutnick.
Is that correct, or is the president considering postponing implementation to negotiate?
There is no postponing. They are definitely going to stay in place for days and weeks. That is sort of obvious. The president needs to reset global trade. Everybody has a trade surplus, and we have a trade deficit. We are paying away our future and our lives. The countries of the world are ripping us off, and it's got to end. The president has made it crystal clear. This is the policy we are going to protect. The factories that come build in America, we are going to protect them. They're going to be successful. That's why they're going to build in America, the greatest economy in the earth. All of these companies are going to come and build here.
Go ahead, Dulcé.
You think? This is my question.
Yes, ma'am.
Because Dick Cheney, right, has been evil the entire time. He runs on transmission fluid. But I think we're dealing with people who actually don't know how economies work. I think we're actually dealing with people that don't know how world economies work, right? Because if you were paying attention, then you would know that a lot of things that we're doing, here's the thing. America has destabilized plenty of other people's economies. If you look at Latin America, Central America through most of the 80s, like what we did in El Salvador, what we were doing in Panama, all of these things, we come through, we will destabilize your country, and then we were in the face of freedom, and then get what we want and leave, and then we don't care what happens to the people, right? but I didn't know about it. And it wasn't done in a way where destabilizing their economy didn't mess up our economy. What he's doing now are the things that we did to other countries to destabilize their economy. And then you have somebody hopping on TV being like, no, because it's been proven, even when his last administration, no one talks to each other and no one talks to him. So all of the people that work for him, remember his speechwriter one day was just like throwing note cards in the air? Because he was like, what did I go to college for? Why am I should give this man a Mad Libs. Like, there's no reason. I'm collecting a check, right? And so it's these other countries are ripping us off. That's not true. We are like, they have a G5 and it's not like we have been the head of all of this for hundreds of years. And to set up and think that other countries are ripping us off, there's no way that in the history of our country, we set up deals that would let other countries rip us off. So what are you talking about?
Well, you're smart because most people don't understand that when they talk about, trade deficits. They don't understand how deficits work. Well, look, this isn't the show to get into all of that because we're out there like a used car salesman trying to sell a 1976 Buick and pretending, Dulcé, was that me? Pretending it's an electric car. And it's not.
But also y'all were selling electric cars at the White House.
That's true. That's true.
I used to work at a used car lot. I can't sell water to a man on fire. You understand? But what I can do is get you in on a predatory loan. That's what I can do.
Your internet is cutting out.
It's your internet cutting out. I paid for mine. Mine's good. It's you.
Dulcé, let's move on to Scott Bessent. Do you know who that is? Scott Bessent is the Treasury Secretary. He is believed to be the adult in the room. Now, half of the time, I don't know what he's saying, and he sounds like this.
Oh.
And he's...
Like Ben Stein?
No, he's just like, he's very mannequin-esque. He's very sort of... very smart.
Interesting. And so he's just, again, well, let's see what wild thing he said.
All right. He said, if this has been the plan all along, watch.
This was driven by the president's strategy. He and I had a long talk on Sunday, and this was his strategy all along. And that, you might even say that he goaded China into a bad position. They responded. They have shown themselves to the world to be the bad actors, and we are willing to cooperate with our allies and with our trading partners who did not retaliate. It wasn't a hard message. Don't retaliate. Things will turn out well.
Let me tell you that's bullshit because they are now asking China they're telling people to call China and request an appointment or a call with the president so they can spin it and say China called. So this wasn't the plan all along. The plan is not working. They said that this was a plan all along. This is a plan all along. They saw the bond market teetering on the brink, and they said, all right, let's call this shit off, but we have to pretend that it's a win. That's what happened. And by the way, is he a robotic or what?
Oh, no, that's very much a real man because he thought he was being clever because whatever Dennis did at the bottom was real. He really wanted to let us know that the veneer is back living. Okay, the veneer's down here. He paid top price. Here's one. This term "bad actors," I still to this day do not know what this means. I do not understand what this is for. This is still in our CRT. It's all this weird terminology, all this dog whistle stuff. We owe China trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
But they also owe us money. It's how trade works. Because a bunch of white men sat around and created a thing called economics. All of this is based on, I remember being in economics class and getting in an argument with my economics teacher when he was talking about the rules of supply and demand, right? Because it truly didn't make sense to me. And in the basic essence of it, he was like, okay, I said, explain this to me. He said, okay, the rules of supply and demand. If you have 100 bottles of water, you sell them for $1 a piece. If 100 people want them, you can sell them for $1. I said, okay. Now, if 200 people want them, you can sell them for $2. And I said, why? He said, because you have a bigger demand than you have a supply. I said, okay, but why does the price have to go up? Why can't you just leave it at $1? And I don't think any child had ever, like 16. And he was like, well, if only 50 people want your bottles of water, then you have to sell it for 50 cents. I said, why? He said, the demand is lower. I said, but he didn't know how to have businesses since I was a kid. But it costs $1 to sell. So if there's less people, then you sell it for less money. If there's more people, you sell it for more money. But it's still $1. So now we're deflating and inflating a price. And what he would never tell me and what he did never say was that you do this because you have to sell the product. That's what he never said. He just kept saying those are the rules.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the rules because you set the rules and you change the rules, because that water could have just stayed $1. But you have a set amount of time that you have to sell this water. So since I have to move this product, I can make it 50 cents or I'll make it $2 because I have to sell it. But if you don't have to sell it, then it can just stay $1. So when you're doing this, so then there's greed and then there's need, right? And so all of this is people going, well, we're being taken advantage of. No one was taking advantage of America. We have all the weapons. We have all the weapons. Nobody is taking advantage of the United States of America. If we do anything, it's sell guns and soybeans. Ain't nobody taking advantage of America. We set up our deals. They know what time it is. Either you take this deal or we're going to come through like we originally started this country. You take this deal or we destabilize your economy. What do you want to do today?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why everybody didn't go to school, because it's like, this is the playbook. Of course it is the playbook. The problem is not everybody is talking to each other and he's doing what he wants to do, because a failed businessman is running the largest economy on the planet. Because remember, when he first started to run in his first term, what did Fox News originally say? Why should you be president? You're a failed businessman.
Mm-hmm.
Only
You
reason
built your
Fox,
business on the backs of poor people.
on the backs of poor people, Fox don't care about poor people. They care about failed businessmen. You were not good at your job. You're not good at your businesses. But I jumped through tax loops. I owe people millions of dollars and I didn't pay it because I've gone bankrupt 14 times. I just used the laws that were given to me. And people were like, oh. And instead of seeing him like a crook, it was, well, these were the laws that were set up by other businessmen to jump through hoops. So now you've elected a man who has never cared about anybody, who wasn't rich. And now all of these other white men have to act like this is the plan. But you also have to remember, what is the first rule of business and what's the first rule of being president of the United States? Do not mess up these white people's money. That's your only job as president of the United States. Do not mess up these white men's money. Because I promise you, and now you're not messing up rich white men's money, you're messing up poor white people's money. Because they've always voted against themselves. That's the Jesus of the Republican Party. But there are no revolutions when you can feed your kids. Nobody has a revolution when they can eat.
So you think that's what all of the scuttlebutt, all of the outrage, all of the consternation this week is, because it was rich people who were losing money initially.
The stock market affects rich people. That's who, when the stock market crashed. The stock market crashed and we had a depression. You see what I'm saying? The people would lose the most money because I was talking to my stockbroker and I gave him a term that he now uses with all of his clients. Because he was talking to me about stocks and I said, what are the stocks old rich white people have? He was like, oh, here. And I talked to him later and he was like, do you know that when I talk to new clients, I go to them, these are the stocks old rich white people have. He said, do you know how much I don't have to explain to people now that I just use that terminology? Because we know that those stocks
give you a discount and on some of those blue chip stocks.
Right. That's what I was about to say. Blue chip stocks, well-established stocks. Because when you're young, when you're coming in, they're not telling you about blue chip stocks. If you say to me blue chip stocks, I don't know what that means. I know about the stock market, I know about the kid. But if you look at me and go, all rich white people, because that's the whole point of money, you use it to make money. So when rich people start losing their money, that'll get you assassinated.
Is it all or old?
Old rich white. That's why I said old rich white people.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Because that means they've been living off the stock market since what? Before Jimmy Carter? Come on. So here's the thing. Rich white people get you assassinated. Poor white people, you a revolution. So you mess around with the wrong ones, because if they January 6th for you, they will January 6th against you. They already showed they'll come outside. They already showed they'll bust into the Capitol. They already showed they'll act a donkey. So when you cannot feed your children, that'll make you listen. When it gets cold outside, when your kids can't eat, it'll make you jump stupid. Wait till these white kids can't eat.
I got to put you in timeout. So stand by. Stand by in the timeout. We're putting Dulcé in the timeout because we need a break. We need a mental health break, and we need to break a break for our sponsors, as a matter of fact. The Don Lemon Show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Let's talk about therapy, okay? And let's be honest about therapy. We can all use some. As a matter of fact, I made an appointment today. I told you I'd been texting with my therapist. I made an appointment today. He had been all booked up. Some weird thing happened. I got off of his schedule. I'm just telling you the truth. And then I had to say, hey, I can't get an appointment with you. What is going on? And finally, I have one. And it's in a week. And I need to talk to him. I need to talk to my therapist. And by the way, I got to pick the therapist that was best for me, because I do mine online as well. So let's talk about therapy. I don't believe there's anything more important than your mental health, your physical health and your mental health. Those are the two most important things. And they're right up there even with each other. Therapy should be affordable. It shouldn't be like an investment, like you got to pay for a stock or any of that. It should be affordable. You should be able to get it easily. It should be accessible. You should be able to do it with a click of a button. You should be able to do it on Zoom or online or with a phone call, or if you want to go in person. I prefer to do it through a Zoom or a phone call. And so let's talk about BetterHelp, okay? Because I benefited from online therapy, and you can too. BetterHelp has more than 30,000 therapists. They've helped more than 5 million people globally, worldwide, help them with their mental health. I like to take the stigma off of it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, with you having a mental health issue and getting some help for it. So visit, your well-being is well worth it, okay? Your well-being is worth it. BetterHelp.com/Don Lemon. Go to BetterHelp.com/Don Lemon to get 10% off your first month. It should not cost you $150 or $250 an hour or more for a therapist. You can get 50% off of that, okay? And if you go to BetterHelp.com/Don Lemon, you'll get even 10% more off of your first month. So that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Don Lemon. Don Lemon Show is also brought to you by the Freedom from Religion Foundation, okay? More and more people are stepping away from organized religion. And look, you do what you want. If you want to go to church on Sunday, if you want to go to the synagogue on Friday, you want to go to the temple, whenever, if you want to do that, then you go do that. But I stepped away from organized religion as a believer. I wrote a book on religion, and I talked about how they are, especially the religious nationalists, they are trying to do what? They're trying to turn us into a theocracy. We're not going to have that. That's where Freedom from Religion Foundation comes in. They fight to keep church and state separate, like our founders actually intended. So whether you've always been secular or you have left religion behind, but believe in keeping faith out of government, FFRF has your back. So join us. Go to ffrf.us/freedom or text my first name, which is Don, to 511-511 and become a member today. Text Don to 511-511 or go to FFRF, which is Freedom from Religion Foundation, ffrf.us/freedom. Because the only thing worse than someone forcing religion on you is when they try to do it by law. Okay? So for membership, text Don to 511-511 today. Text fees may apply. And I showed you how you can do it this morning on my 10 a.m. show, on the Hot Topic show at 10 a.m. And it's pretty easy. It's really simple. You can do it yourself. Even someone like Dulcé Sloan can text. She knows how to text. And I'm sure she has. You have been my therapy for a long time, too, as I used to watch you on the late night. Yeah, you were my therapy.
On Daily Show where they would bring, I realized
when they laugh. Laugh is good. Laughter is good therapy, I do believe.
It is. And I realized one day, I was like, oh, they bring me out to yell at America. Okay. Got you. And that makes sense. That seems very correct. It's just like, what's happening? Hey, man, go get Dulcé. Go get Dulcé. Me and Josh Johnson, shout out to Josh Johnson, would write it up. Or me and Devin Delaquanti. But yeah, me and Josh Johnson would just be like, okay, well, I'm about to yell at America again. But I think for me, it's the best way to process things. And it's one, I know that laughter could be good therapy for people, and I know it's a great place to be able to like process things. That's why the show has been on since the time of Moses. But what I don't like is people coming to comics, because Bill Burr was in an interview. They tried to interview him on the red carpet during Conan's Mark Twain Prize. And, you know, they're trying to ask him about different political things. And he was just like, one, I'm here to support Conan. But two, why are you asking me these questions? I'm a court jester. Why are you looking to me? He said, y'all need to be asking the right people these questions. The press needs to get their teeth back. What they want to do is you want to come and ask comedians who are just living in the world and trying to understand what's going on, just like everybody else. I can't fix what's going on. I'm not a politician. So instead of like looking at me and go, okay, this is what's happening in the world. We're going to dissect this. We're going to figure it out. But the thing that makes you upset and frustrated because they're passing a law where you have to have a freedom for religion foundation. I'm a Christian woman, but I also know we put separation church and state in a thing for a reason, right?
There you go.
But it's never been about religion. It's been about control.
Mm-hmm.
You know God is powerful because you use God to control people. Because that's what this has been about. Because in the same way, you have to understand, you have all of Exodus talking about how the Jews were freed from slavery in Egypt. But yet, now, all these years later, slave owners who enslaved our ancestors use the same book to justify enslaving people when there's a whole book talking about how God got them out of Egypt. So what are we talking about? Right?
Yeah. And to subjugate women, to discriminate against black people, to enslave black people, all these things.
By
the way, Dulce, can you take that, see your right earring? Can you put it inside of your thing? Because it's hitting it like.
Listen. I am a black woman making a point. And a hoop earring is going to talk for me. She's giving you, it's Morse code, being help me, get me out of here.
No, I was just clicking on. I want people to hear you and not be distracted, boo. That's
you're right. Thank you. But yeah, it's laughter is a way to. It's the court jester was the only one that could speak up in front of the king, right? Because he could dissect what's going on. We're court jesters, but you don't look for the jester to fix the problem. You look for the jester to dissect and digest the problem for you to make it more palatable for you to understand it. But don't look to me to fix it. If Republicans are running the House and the Senate, and you're like, oh, that's why they're doing all these executive orders. No one in the history has ever written many executive orders, but you have to do it like this because you want to control everything. So you have to do it this way because this is the thing. If he had as much control as he thought he did, they would be passing all of these as laws. But also now the American people are starting to learn the president does not write laws. Congress writes laws.
The president gives executive orders.
Because that's the only law, because that's the only true power he has. Because what has to happen is for something to become a law, it has to get passed in the House and the Senate. So my question is, if you're going to do all of these things that you are doing, why not just have someone from the Republican Party present this as a law in one house and then take it to the other one and
get it through like that. They can't get it through, and it's not fast enough for him.
And they know they can't get it through. That's why he's doing executive orders. So he's not even using the party that he is in to do what he wants to do. And so now this is the best civics lessons we've had in a long time, because now all of these people are finally going to know who their congressperson is.
But it's in real time. I don't like this civics lesson in real time. Get your civics lesson in high school, not in real time like this. And you
I got mine in high school during Clinton. So I was like, that's crazy.
I can't tell you when I got mine in high school during Reagan. But look.
Hey, we outside. Listen, hey, we know it don't crack. It don't crack. It's exhausted. It is tired.
So
but it don't crack.
You mentioned the media, and you said the media you said to get a spine or something like that. So
that's what Bill Burr said to the reporters in that interview. Quit coming go talk to the people you need to be talking to. Don't ask me these hard questions about the government.
Yeah.
Go chase down Congress. Go stand in a lobby next to lobbyists and ask Representative, hey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, why are you saying, go chase them down. Quit chasing down comics and go chase down the people who are helping this man literally destroy the country.
Well, Caroline Leavitt is a press secretary, and I think they need to become more aggressive with her and hold her because I believe the Trump folks, the administration, including the press secretary, they think that the people work for them, that the press works for them. They are actually public servants, meaning that the people in the administration, and they don't respect the public. They don't respect the press. Apparently, she said the media never learned the art of the deal because they were wondering why Donald Trump caved on the tariffs with China and others. Here it is. Watch.
Many of you in the media clearly missed the art of the deal. You clearly failed to see what President Trump is doing here. You tried to say that the rest of the world would be moved closer to China when in fact we've seen the opposite effect. The entire world is calling the United States of America, not China, because they need our markets, they need our consumers, and they need this president in the Oval Office to talk to them. And that's exactly why more than 75 countries have called, because the United States of America is the best place in the world to do business. And as the president has shown great courage, as the secretary has said, in choosing to retaliate against China even higher. Elena, go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing. That's a lie. That's spin.
Also, she couldn't say the word courage correctly, so you know she was lying.
What did she say?
Courage.
So listen, this is what I mean. They're saying this is the art of the deal. This is the plan all along. And then Donald Trump steps out literally probably 5 minutes after this press conference. Here's what he said.
Yeah. You started the morning saying be cool. And just a few hours later, there was a pause put in on the tariffs. Can you walk us through your thinking about why you decided to put a 90-day pause?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know. They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions. Because we have a big job to do. No other president would have done what I did. No other president. I know the presidents, they wouldn't have done it. And it had to be done. What was happening to us on trade, not only with, you know, if you look at it, not only with China, but China was by far the biggest abuser in history. And others also, but.
You see the two in the back that couldn't hold their face straight?
Yeah. So what was it though? Was it the plan all along, or did people get yippy? Look, all of it is a lie. So Caroline Leavitt really thinks that she's feeling herself. You know how they say you're smelling yourself or something. Is that the same? She's feeling
herself. Listen, she got her look. She came out with her new trench coat. All right, in 70-degree weather, and thought that she was really hair out there looking dry. That's not the point. What I will say is that if you can lie like that, because what's her job? To defend the man, and she's going to defend the man. But what keeps happening is that he does something without the knowledge base to do it. For instance, if you remember when he was messing with the post office, they was trying to mess the post office up and shut the U.S. postal system down, and everybody was worried. And then somebody had to go, sir, when rural areas vote Republican, most of it usually, honestly, maybe one of our highest bases is rural America, and they have to vote by mail. And so if you don't allow the mail to mail, then you won't get these votes. And somebody just had to go, hey, you're gonna mess yourself up. And he had to go, oh, okay, shit. So it's only thing you saw was Democrats getting benefit from these write-in votes. And then somebody had to go to you, hey, this benefits us the most. You might want to be quiet. It's the same thing. Somebody said, look at this. Look at the money. Look at the money. This is the thing that bugs me the most, right? Nobody. What did we learn? Follow the white man with the money. Follow the man with the money. You have to remember, America was created as a business. It was never about freedom. This was literally, we live in a Ponzi scheme. You understand? We live, it's like, oh, it's religious freedom. No, it's not, because they got over here and started burning women as witches. They just wanted to act a donkey somewhere else. All of this entire hemisphere. We shouldn't speak English. I shouldn't even live here. I shouldn't know what winter looks like, right? Everything that happened on this entire side of the planet is because white men could not sit down. All of it. And so the fact that we're not acknowledging the fact that this is about money. And so when he learned, we're going to mess the money up, you're going to mess the money up, that's what put a pause on it. It's very easy to understand. It was money. It's always been about money. It's not, well, you know, people were getting yippee. Yeah, somebody said, yip, you about to mess the money up, sir. You about to mess the money. That was the yip, 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 yip. Coins, ducats.
You remember that? Where the money resides,
where the money resides, and you about to mess us up. You about to mess up the money not to be residing over here. Yes, because well, you know what we don't have? Because you remember when they shipped all the manufacturing overseas? The reason that China is a manufacturing superpower that it is because we sent them our business. That's why. That's why they do what they do, is because of fast fashion and all of this stuff. Because the reason the dollar store exists is because somebody was like, hey, it'll cost us too much money to get Americans to do this. But you know, and China was like, we'll do it. We don't get all the EPA stuff. We'll put plastic on anything, right? We don't care. So we are we are a business superpower. But in the same way that when you look at the Civil War, and they talk about the North and the South, what happens? The South had raw goods coming, timber, tobacco, cotton. Where was it sent to? The North. And they processed it. But now everyone likes to act like, oh, the South was so awful and we have nothing to do. The stock market started as a slave auction. So we have to not, so don't play with me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't act like that everybody was just cut off. No, America's always been completely connected. It's always been about money. So now we're shipping stuff over. Well, we have nothing to do with slavery. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because that cotton that you're going to turn these shirtwaists to in these shirtwaist factories, where do the raw materials come from? Where did you get the wood to make these railroad ties? And now you got the people out here out west building railroads. Where'd you get it from? And this is the same thing. China is the superpower that it is because we didn't do manufacturing here because it costs too much money. Also, something can say made in America if only part of the production's in America. So you can get your shirts cut up in another country. You can get the shirt sewn in another country, but then you send them to America and we put the label in that says made in America. So I used to work in call centers. You know how many Filipinos I talked to because they were shipping our jobs overseas? Now, was that beneficial to people in the Philippines and India? But yes, but what it didn't do was benefit anybody in America. So don't say to me, China's taking advantage of us. They can't take advantage of you if you set them up.
Y'all better hit that thumbs up for Dulcé, because people are like, Dulcé is preaching. Damn, I'm getting an education. Dulcé, and look, I was waiting for someone to say that about the stock market. I mean, where does the name stocks come from? Is it a stockyard? Like, what?
You see what I'm saying? Why is it a stock market? Because you were selling humans.
Human
animals.
beings. Yes.
Okay, so look. All of that.
Howard Lutnick, Scott Bessent, Caroline Levitt. Those are our top three. Well, those are our first three. So let's put the poll up. Is the poll up? Do you guys have the poll up so far?
Who's on the poll? What happened?
There's a poll. Oh,
the poll is up.
It is. I don't see it. Why don't I see this damn poll? Oh, there it is. Okay, so the poll is up. Who should proceed to the Sour Lemon of the Week finals? Man, this woman sorry, I shouldn't give it away. Howard Lutnick, Scott Bessent, or Caroline Levitt? Scott Bessent, Howard Lutnick, or Caroline Levitt? We won't say who we think. You think what?
I think it's the robot man.
He's a robot. And by the way, he's on my team. I'm like, he is a robot.
No.
Yes. Yes, Queen.
Oh, he's the reason that Grindr be shutting down during the RNC.
No,
okay.
No. He's out with kids. No. Not like that. There's nothing like that. I would not be outing anybody. It's not a secret.
Oh, okay. No. You know, I didn't think he was out nobody. What I'm saying is him and his homeboys shutting that Grindr server down every RNC, baby. One of my friends told me that. He was like, you'll be on Grindr. He said, did that RNC come through? And boom, shut the city down. Can't nobody get no trade. Messing my day up because you don't want to live who you are. Friend. Get out my city. What you mean? Y'all acting wild. tapping toes in bathrooms. Go sit down, sir. Get a new suit. You look crazy.
Oh my gosh. Dulcé, where did you get that from? How did you become a comedian? Did it sneak up on you? Did I ever spoken to you about that?
It did. I can say I had no plans of becoming a comedian. One of my little sisters from college, she used to work the door at a comedy club in Atlanta. So I was like 2 years out of school. And she was like, oh, I run the door at this comedy club. Just come through. I'll let you in for free. So I said, okay. And so I started hanging out up there because I was in an improv troupe. And I didn't think about being a comic. And so I got to meet comedians and just talking to them in conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And, just telling a story or whatever about what happened that day. Something happened at work, probably. When the comics, Big Kenny Johnson, I talk about it in my book, Big Kenny Johnson, he was like, you're a comedian. I was like, I don't think so, sir. I'm a trained actor. And he was like, no, you know how to tell a comedic story. I was like, yeah, because I'm a trained performer. And he was like, no, you a comic and you need to take my stand-up class. And I was like, no, gracias. And for 2 years, this man hit me up every time he had that class to take a stand-up class. And the only reason I took it was my mom had a dream that the whole world was laughing at me. And she said, I didn't understand what it meant. But she came into me and told me, I was like, Mama, Big Kenny's doing a stand-up class again. Because he would have me and my mom come to shows and I, start meeting comics and stuff. And she said to me one day, I said, Big Kenny's doing a class. She said, you should do it. She said, I had a dream the whole world was laughing at you. She said, I don't know what it means, but I think you need to take the stand-up class. And so I took the class and I graduated in May. Like the graduation show was May 12th of 2009. And so this year's makes 16 years that I've been doing stand-up. And so I'm going to have a Sweet 16 show at the Comedy Store on May 14th to celebrate me doing stand-up for 16 years.
Well, congratulations. I think some of the folks in Washington are doing stand-up like this next person. Because he is, oh my God, Peter Navarro. I don't know if you know him. Peter Navarro says that.
No.
Yes. Okay. But let me just tell you this. So Peter Navarro, first, I'm going to show you how the fake part of Peter Navarro, and then I'm going to show you the begging part. So this is Rachel Maddow talking about Peter Navarro and how he made up a source in his book, and he's been quoting him for years. Here it is.
Oh, wait, I heard about this.
In all of his books, Peter Navarro has cited an economics expert to justify his views. And the economics expert he cites is somebody named Ron Vera, V-A-R-A, Ron Vera. When Trump won the presidency and entered the White House, this Ron Vera started circulating a memo around Washington in support of Trump using tariffs in trade policy. According to the New York Times, the memo had been, quote, sent from an email address purportedly belonging to Ron Vera. At one point, Ron Vera wrote in the memo that Trump could, quote, ride the tariffs to victory. Problem is, Ron Vera doesn't exist. He never has. The economics expert that Peter Navarro has long cited to explain why he's so gung-ho on tariffs, this person, Ron Vera, is a made-up person. He is a fictional person. Peter Navarro invented Ron Vera as his expert source so he could quote this expert source over and over and over again in his crackpot books. Who is Ron Vera? Ron Vera is an anagram of Navarro, which is his last name.
I knew it was an anagram.
It's an anagram.
But that really is how the Trump administration crafted its tariff policy. That's where Trump came up with the tariff idea.
Anagram.
Circulating a fake memo from a fake person with a fake email address in order to make it look like this was a serious issue being debated by real experts. That is the intellectual basis on which Donald Trump today wiped $6 trillion of wealth out of existence and crashed America's markets and brought America and the world to the brink of a self-inflicted, on-purpose, global Great Depression along the lines of what we had in 2008 and what the pandemic inflicted upon us in 2020. This time, the global disaster is Donald Trump's big brain.
Let me tell you something. I watch enough murder mysteries and it said Ron Vera, Ron Vera. I said, this is interesting. And I was like, what if this is an anagram? And this but this will let you know how this is hubris at its best. Because all he had to do was use a different name. You see what I'm saying? But you were so cocky that you used an anagram of your own name. If it was me, I'd have been like, Keisha Johnson is this expert.
Yeah.
You know, Bobby
They'll never
Valentino.
know.
You'll never
They'll
know.
never know.
They'll never know. You ding dong. That lets you know how just cocky is not the right word. It's hubris. There's no other way to describe it. This is pure hubris because this is a real Dick Dastardly rolling of the mustache. They'll never get me. Ha ha. Like, he should have just tied America to railroad tracks. Like, do you understand what you're saying? Like, it's so. Muttley should be laughing on the side.
That's all, folks.
Right, truly. Like, this is what this is. And so it's like, but you have to remember, it's like the whole shock and awe thing. You do so many things that we're exhausted. Like, remember when COVID was happening and it was just like, okay, well, we're going to get out of it. We're going to get out of lockdown. We're going to get out of lockdown. We're going to get out of lockdown. And just, everybody was just like, oh my, what is happening? It's an overload of your brain. And so we can't talk about this enough because we don't know what a tariff is. We don't. We know what taxes are. We don't know what tariffs are because most people, when they trade something, it's hey, can we switch pins? You see what I'm saying? Trade was elementary school. Trade wasn't trillions of dollars going from business to business, country to country. All those shipping liners that are moving things from place to place. We don't think that way because we don't have to, because we live in a country that has Amazon. I don't have to think about anything. The grocery store always has food.
Mm-hmm.
We don't walk in the store unless there's a hurricane coming or a giant disaster when the fires were happening in LA. We never walk into a store and they're just like, because of X law or because our country does this or that, because we're developing or whatever, we don't have the things to take care of our people. We don't live like that. We live in so much abundance that we throw away more food than we eat.
Mm-hmm.
So we are always in a place where just like, well, we're fine. That's why I say you don't have revolutions when people are eating. So, but then one of my friends who's in the military explained it to me. He's like, he wants this civil unrest because then he can call for martial law. That's what all of this is for.
Is that why a lot of folks stayed home for the protest?
I know why I stayed home.
Why?
Because one, y'all was going to be marching off beat and I'm not coming. I saw who was going. I didn't go to that women's march either. You know why? Because 54% of white women voted for it and 50 in another, and they did it again. I'm not coming. But also, but this is the thing that's messed up because we weren't there. Because you know who's on TikTok yelling for, there's a bunch of people, non-black people online that were like, well, where are the black people? Hey. I marched in November when I was supposed to.
You mean to the polls?
Exactly. I did. I voted for the right congressperson. I voted for the president. I voted for the person who would keep us out of the situation. Don't look for me now to come marching with y'all and making posters and all that other stuff. I'm not going to Michael's for y'all. I got some high quality markers in here. I'm not using that on a poster board because we did not show up. They had marches in all 50 states. Did they put that on TV? No. One, you don't want people to know that the white people are mad. Two, people didn't show up in riot gear because we weren't there.
Okay, now let me say this. I wrote about it, and there were people, lots of supporters, but there were also people who were pissed off saying, why, Don Lemon, why are you writing about this? And I'm just writing, I'm analyzing. I'm saying that there is a quiet movement among, this was on my Substack that I put on it. There's a quiet movement among black people in the country. They're like, I'm tired. I'm going to sit this one out. I went to the polls, like you said, in November. And I told people to read this with an open mind and to sit with it. And most people got it. They're like, you know what? I get it. But then there were people like, how dare you? I'm a white woman. I did not vote for him, or I did this for the civil rights. I understand their frustration, but what do you say to those folks? Because not all white women voted. There's a lot of white women listening on this, channel who did not support Donald Trump.
Then I'm not talking to you, so be quiet.
That's what thank you. Can you high five me right here in the camera? That's what I mean. It doesn't apply to you.
Well, we're going to put blue bracelets on so that don't mean nothing to me. You can make a bracelet. There are plenty of women that told their husbands they voted for Trump and they didn't. There are plenty of people that said they voted for Kamala and didn't. So I'm not playing this game with y'all because y'all want to be mad at us because you're expecting us to always lead the fight.
To save democracy.
To save democracy. Also, we saw what happened when we marched during Black Lives Matter and all of the white people that came in and usurped and were destroying property. There were so many videos of white people during Black Lives Matter marches destroying property and us saying to them, do not graffiti things, do not break things. And it's like, you can't tell me what to do. Yes, I can tell you, little goofy ass, what to do, because it's not going to be some white kid in a Black Lives Matter march broke shit. It was going to be a black person in a Black Lives Matter march broke something. And now we have problems. And now you got me trapped in the Brooklyn Bridge for 5 hours. So why, my question is, right. So my question is, why are you looking for us? That's what you need to ask yourself. There's people on the internet right now. Where is Obama? What do you mean, where is Obama? Where's Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris did what she was supposed to do. The question is, are you calling your congressperson to make sure that you know who to vote for when the midterms come up? Why are you looking for us? Why is this a problem? Why are you waiting for us to, y'all want us to throw the first stone so then you can run up behind us? What are you looking for us for? That's the real question. Why are you looking for black people to come march? We already told you what to do. Because so y'all can evoke with Martin Luther King again? The man was assassinated. So what are we talking about? Because y'all love to throw him up. Well, he was a nonviolent protester and he got assassinated anyway. We already know whatever we do is going to be a problem. We were nonviolently protesting and they sent the National Guard out. You sent police out in riot gear. You literally would have to have the white people that did support Black Lives Matter marches standing in between black protesters and the police because white people know that the police are not going to come at them. So if we're all aware of what's happening, then what are you looking for us for? Go march. What do we need to be there for?
All right. Can we get back to Ron Vera?
Ron Vera, let me tell you something.
Let me play this though.
He goofy. It's goofy.
All right. So Ron Vera, this is Ron Vera now. That was Ron Vera, Rachel Maddow exposing him. This is Ron Vera. I think this was just yesterday. Here it is.
Provide him the appropriate set of advice. Every one of us on the team has a different skill set that combines to the collective wisdom of the group, and the boss makes the decision. And look, Casey, please, would you give us some kudos here for what happened? We're on a path now. We're in for over 90 days. We're going to have every country come in who's admitted they cheated us, given us hundreds of billions of dollars back for the American people and bring in investment here.
So
I mean,
we can
that's
put
what
up on
happened.
the
I don't
screen
know
how
you
long
spin it
some of this
any
takes,
other
right?
way.
So we've got.
Oh my gosh. And you know, that's how you know when somebody is bullshitting you when they're like, look, I'm trying to make you understand. Let me tell you, baby, okay?
I've talked to a man before. I know what those hands mean.
Yeah, go ahead, tell us.
Nah, girl. See, you not listening. Okay? You not listening. I'm going to tell you something that I used to.
She is just my friend. And
She's just my friend. You see what I'm saying? I was like, then why are her drawers in your car?
She was changing. We went to the gym.
Right. She was changing. Okay, but then why are her drawers? And you telling me she went to the gym with no drawers on? Sounds crazy. I know what she did. She left the drawers in the car to let me know that her drawers was off in the car. Don't play with me, sir. I'm a good person. And I know that busting up your car is a felony, but I know how lug nuts work. Don't play with me. I'm a good person, right? So, that right there, baby girl, and then say, I knew he was lying when he said her name. Now, one, this is a way that certain people talk, right? With somebody, when I'm in mid-conversation with a white person and they say my name, we've been talking the whole time. Why are you saying my name mid-sentence? Well, Dulcé, stop saying my name. Why are you saying my name? What you talking about? You know he's a liar. Here's the thing. You conned people with this thing. All he needed to do, you got caught, right? Go away. Go away. You got caught. Go sit down. You go sit down. You got caught, dog. Go be quiet somewhere. But you dealing with a president that got how many felonies that still became president, so you ain't got to sit down no more. Okay? Why are you bringing up old stuff? Yes, Kristen, that's exactly what he said to her. Because he said, Casey, can't you give us any credit? That is the equivalent. That is the white man. Why are you bringing up old stuff? That's exactly what just happened. Kristen, shout out to Kristen. Sis came through with the truth. So this is all this is. Because there are no consequences for being there's no consequences anymore.
Oh my gosh, in the chat, I just realized one step from asking, why are you bringing up that
Why are you
old
bringing
stuff?
up old stuff? That's exactly what he did to her. Casey, why are you bringing up old stuff? All of these countries are not going to show up with a check. That's not how governments work. So this is the thing. If you're a con man and you get caught, you're supposed to grab the money and run. He's supposed to be in the Cayman Islands with his wife, keeping his mouth shut. He's supposed to be moving money over to an offshore account and taking his silly ass to get sunburned down near the equator. He's not supposed to be standing in front of a building with a suit on. This is why I don't like these new crooks. These
White House.
Listen, these white men used to know how to crime. And that's what makes me mad about all of this. They used to know how to crime. We didn't know what Dick Cheney was doing. We knew it might have been good, but I didn't know. Now we all open, okay? The Klan used to wear hoods. Now they walking around with their face full out because they ain't got no shame and they don't have no decorum, okay? You outside being loud and wrong. You out here conning people and won't take your silly ass to the Caribbean like you're supposed to.
All right.
I can't.
We're going from Ron Vera
Donald.
to this is I'm gonna save the multi one for last. So I'm gonna go with Gretchen Whitmer. Gretchen Whitmer is a governor. Remember Big Gretch that they called her, Gretchen Whitmer? Gretchen Whitmer she got invited to the White House. Oh. She went. She's a Democratic governor. People were saying, you know what, they thought maybe she should be the nominee over Kamala Harris. She got invited to the White House. And Donald Trump then signed an executive order while she was at the White House. And then I think he talked about it, about prosecuting, having his Justice Department prosecute what he believes are his political enemies or people who have spoken against him. That's Christopher Krebs and Miles Taylor. Okay. And she witnessed it and she didn't say anything. Here it is.
Krebs, the former head of CISA. This is a man who weaponized his position against free speech in the election context, in the context of COVID-19. This is it's a similar presidential memorandum to the one you just signed. It addresses his access to government, existing clearances he might have, and further instructs your Department of Justice, other aspects of your government, to investigate some of the malign acts that he participated in while he was still head of CISA.
This is another one. I don't know that I met him. I'm sure I met him, but I didn't know him. And he came out right after the election, which was a rigged election, a badly rigged election. She's really done an excellent job, and a very good person. And we're working on the Selfridge, as you know, the air base. We're trying to get the air base open, keep it open. I think, Gretchen, if you're there, and Matt Hall, the Speaker of the House of Michigan.
That's why we're working so hard to make sure that, we work with the Army Corps and erect a barrier so that the Asian carp can't get into Lake Michigan. It'll devastate the ecosystem.
So that was Gretchen Whitmer. Yeah.
She wouldn't have won either, so don't matter.
Anyways, I don't know why she didn't say anything. She hasn't said anything.
Because what was she's trying to keep an aggressive fish out of a lake, right? But I don't know what she was supposed to say. Here's the thing. People get mad. I remember people being mad at Kim Kardashian when she went to go meet with Trump to get somebody pardoned out of jail, right? And they're like, well, why would she meet with him? It's like, because she's trying to get somebody who should never have been incarcerated out of jail. So they have to go get the president, because the governor can't do it. The mayor can't do it. You have to go to the president to get him to sign this thing, right? And if he loves anything, it's fame. So you get one of the most famous women in the world to come help people get out of jail. And he loves it, right? So if anything, she's playing to the strengths, right? Now, this young lady What was she supposed to say? She's here to do the thing for her state. Because what she wants to do is do the thing for her state. Get in and get out. Because the last thing she needs to do is say something against him. One, he's going to stop what she's doing. Two, he already had somebody say he's my political enemy. We live in a democracy. You've always been able to speak against the president, and it's not illegal. There is nothing wrong with somebody speaking against the president, because you can't say freedom of speech for me to say whatever I want to say, but there's no freedom of speech for anybody that speaks against me.
Yeah. But look,
but
she never should have agreed to a cozy Oval Office visit. Remember when the MSNBC host got scurried, what do you call it? Why can't I think of the word? Savage, I'll say, for meeting with Donald Trump down at the Mar-a-Lago.
See, she stood quiet. She said nothing. Yes, she did. But she came in there. Here's the thing. This is a president who won't smoke, right? Now, how else was this supposed to happen? She's called to the Oval Office to get her thing done, right? If she causes any type of issues, he's not going to do the thing. And so what you saw her doing was just going, hey, we're just trying to make sure that these fish don't get into our ecosystem and destroy the entire ecosystem of Lake Michigan. Because he already stripped the EPA. So she's already bringing him something he don't even want to do. And then she's supposed to go, well, you shouldn't have said this thing. We're asking for people to speak up in places that it's going to cause more problems.
Okay, I don't think she should have been there. I probably would have said something. But here's what she said, and she's saying what you said. This is how she defended herself. She says, it was not where I wanted to be or planned to be or would have liked to have been, Whitmer told reporters after an event at the campus of Oakland Community College. I disagree with a lot of stuff that was said and the actions that were taken, but I stayed in the room because I needed to make the case for Michigan, and that's my job.
Her job is to fight for her state. And so, again, we're looking at the wrong people at the wrong time to speak up. Now, did she get what she needed?
I'm sure she will, because she didn't speak up. Had she spoken up, she might not have gotten what she needed.
Had she spoken up, they'd have kicked her out the room and he'd have never spoke to her again. Her job is to keep that aggressive ass fish out of Lake Michigan. And so she's there for the people of Michigan, because at the end of the day, he's still the president. And as the governor, she has voted in office. She was chosen to take care of her state. And so you have to know when to pick your battles. Why were we asking her to do that in that moment? Because is the man he was talking about, is he a representative for her state?
No, he's not. He is not.
That's none of her business.
Okay.
None of her business. So she had to do her job. And I hate people just doing their job, but she had to do it.
She had to do it. She said she didn't want to be there. No, she may have could have said something afterwards. I don't know, but you know why. Okay,
she can say something after she gets her thing signed. You got to finish your job. You can talk shit after you can't talk shit about a job before you get it. But once I'm sitting in my office,
I saved this one for last.
Okay.
And this is let's go. This is Fox News overall. This is Fox News then and now on the stock market. Here it is.
Saw the stock market soaring post-election. It reached an all-time high today, 82,000. Optimism everywhere. Just ignore the sky is falling reports in the regime press. Tune out the breathless reporting about market gyrations.
I'm excited about the economy. Look at the stock market. Our rocket ship is getting ready to take off in our economy with President Trump. We were probably overbloated with the stock market here for a while. We went up quite a bit.
You guys want to start with good news? The market's up 25% since you won. You tweeted this out that nobody in the media brings it up, so I said, you know what, I'm going to bring it up tonight.
Forget the stock market for a second here, and I have said on this program for years, it's never been my indicator in terms of the health of the economy.
The market always knows. So the market already started to kind of have this sort of rally, this sort of Trump rally. It's an energy, it's an electricity. We have to be very, very careful about all of this and the notion that we have to react as Americans based on the market being down. So what?
The stock market is the only sign of life And it's only going up because everyone thinks Trump is going to win the election. You can't really watch the stock market.
Now, that was Fox News then and now and some folks. Okay, this is Fox News laughing over smart people giving their stock market predictions and what's going to happen with the economy. Here it is.
He's just transparent. He's also trying to market this as the fact that he paused the tariffs, and he absolutely did not. He canceled the reciprocal tariffs, but we are still, as Dana said, tariffing the entire globe 10%, even the people that we have good relationships with, like Australia. And there was questioning of Jameson Greer, our trade representative, earlier this week about why we're possibly doing that, and he had absolutely no answer for it. The Yale Budget Lab just came out with new figures based on yesterday's tariff numbers that says that this will cost each American household $4,400. This is the highest tariff rate since 1909.
Who came up with that?
The Yale Budget Lab.
Oh, not the Yale Budget Lab.
Oh, I'm sorry that I didn't pull it out of a cartoon or something wherever you got your point.
We'll see it tomorrow everywhere else.
No.
The Yale
Fine.
Budget Lab.
Why are you making fun of smart people that calculate things? The economic.
Isn't that guy supposed to be a comedian or something? But go on.
I don't know. Aren't they all jokes? Aren't they all just jesters walking around in real clothes? One, that man laughed like that to discredit her. That's what that laugh was. That laugh is to discredit a woman. Of course you have to laugh because you can't be wrong. But these are the people whose money aren't $4,400 isn't going to affect them. $4,400, like, you know, for a long time, the average American couldn't hand somebody $300.
Mm-hmm.
$4,400, that's a tax. That is like a child credit on your taxes.
Mm-hmm.
$4,400, that changes people. That can change somebody's life.
Yeah.
Negatively. So, of course it has to be a joke. Of course it has to be funny. Because there's absolutely no way that they can acknowledge that this man that they sold to the American people is doing anything wrong. Because why is this funny? Because if she'd have turned, because this is what she should have, she could have turned to them and said, "Where'd you get this information from?" She could go, Fox News. They don't fact check their own stuff. She could have said that they were the source.
Fox News, we did a study and they would not have known.
No,
you're right.
They wouldn't know. If you told Fox News that this came from Fox News, Fox would have been like, "This came from us." Yes.
But that's a perfect setup for the next soundbite I'm going to play, because they only became aware that tariffs were a tax on the consumer and on the business owner because another Rupert Murdoch-owned news organization, so to speak, or paper, posted or reported a story on a man who said, "Hey, look, this is a tax on me. I have a small business." And only because they read about it in the New York Post, not that the New York Times had been reporting it, every other news organization in the world had been saying, no, economists, former economic advisors, all saying this is a tax on the consumer. This is going to cause inflation and possibly a recession. But they had no idea. And apparently they just found out this week because they read it in the New York Post. Here it is.
There's an item in the New York Post that we all have in front of us. It's an exclusive story, and it talks about how with these 104% tariffs that went into effect, you know, we think that China is going to have to pay for it, but it tells a story of a special needs toy importer. And when the tariffs went into effect at midnight, his tariff, he's been paying a tariff because he gets stuff from China, $26,000 a year. His tariff bill went from $26,000 at midnight to $346,000, and that's money he's going to have to come out of his pocket. It sounds like he's going to have to go ahead and close down part of his business. He tried to make the toys in the United States, but the tariff on that, his most popular item, went from 0 to $17 at midnight.
Look at the other
what
anchor
he told
spaces.
the New York Post is people don't understand the tariff situation. They think just foreign countries are paying for the tariffs. That's not true. Half of the tariffs are being paid for by U.S.-based companies. So when you look at the big numbers and they look good, just remember that according to this guy, half of the small businesses and half of the tariffs are being paid by Americans.
They just found that out? Seriously, did they just find that out?
Because if you don't do international business, you don't know what a tariff is. Why would you know that? The average person doesn't have a business where they're bringing in a large amount of goods from international sources. But guess where prices are about to go up? If you were somebody who shops at any international grocery store, I stay in an H Mart. Stay in an H Mart. And I remember a couple years ago, there was an issue down at the port of LA, and they weren't letting soju get off these shipping containers that came. They weren't letting alcohol soju that came from Korea off of these shipping containers, and there was a shortage that went all the way to New York. So if you are someone that uses international goods, anything that is imported, because what you have to understand is that in the way I had a jewelry business, if I had a pair of earrings that cost me $3 to make, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got them. So when the selling price, I got $3. I got to make my $3 back. So now it's $6. Then I got to pay because my mother taught me how to do this because of the business she's had. Then how long does it take me to make a pair of earrings? Takes me 30 minutes. My mother says, make it an hour. How much do you want to sell? How much do you want to get paid an hour? I said, at the time, I was making $10 an hour. She said, okay, now your earrings are $16. Do you have to drive around to go get them to sell them? Yes, ma'am. She said, now a pair of earrings is $20. It cost me, but it didn't cost me $3. It cost me $16, right? And then so $4 was really, that was the $3 that I made originally was the profit. The other $4 covered all these other costs, right? So there's that last bit down there. So also telling somebody something $16, somebody's walking around with $16 or walking around with a $20 bill. Give me the 20, get the earrings, boom, God bless, end of your day, right? So if you were someone, again, if you remembered any economics class, all of the costs of a business gets rolled over to the consumer. So if you levy taxes on items that are brought in from overseas, someone's going to have to pay that. So as a business owner, if these earrings that I brought in, if I now have to pay, instead of paying $2 for this one pair of earrings, if it jumps up to 10, then somebody has to pay that 10. Otherwise, I'm going to lose money every single time I sell something. So the cost of everything that comes from somewhere else is going to go up. But this was the same man that told us that egg prices were going to drop. But the eggs go up and we eat our own eggs. Those are our eggs that people can't afford. Them eggs, all they did was get on a truck. They didn't get on a boat. So if we can't afford eggs, you're not going to be able to afford anything. So y'all voted for this man. So that's the thing. It's now a tariff is a tax. That's all it is. So all of the taxes have gone up, and that's all this is.
It's them raising the prices on their own. But here,
why? But why?
Let me get the names in. So this is round 2, okay? Round 2 is Ron Vera, or it's Peter Navarro, Gretchen Whitmer, and Fox News. The poll is up. Please, please, please vote in the poll. Let me know, producers, if we have a winner. And then I'm going to tell you who the honorable mention is, that someone wanted a write-in candidate, and we're going to put it in there. And I told you guys to save it in the beginning. So do we have enough producers to go with this yet?
I would give it maybe one more minute until we get a few more votes.
What say you, Dulcé?
About what?
No, we can't say who do I think. We don't want to put our thumb on the scale.
Listen. I don't want to be out here. I don't want to taint. I don't want to taint, people's minds, or like put a little earwig in and be like, oh, this person. What I will say is that I'm very glad you do this show, because I don't think no one's doing a deep dive on what is actually happening without really trying to put a spin on it or make it more digestible. Because I think what we're doing now is like, let's make this easier for people to understand. But the problem is this isn't an easy thing to understand. We didn't know what tariffs were. That's a paragraph in a social studies book. You don't realize the things that affect your life directly until they affect your life directly. Because he wasn't doing too much his first presidency that was really affecting my life directly. I have a scholarship program that I started at my college for minority theater students. I can't do my scholarship anymore because it's for minority theater students. So every college just got a letter that said if you have it's called an exclusionary scholarship because it's for minority students. And they said if you continue to have these quote unquote exclusionary scholarships, the school will no longer be able to receive FAFSA or Pell Grants. So that means no student at the school can get financial aid. And do you know what they're using to enforce this, Don Lemon?
Yes,
ma'am. The
ma'am.
Civil Rights Act. So the same act that is the reason that I got to go to college, because you can't exclude people based on race, is the same one that these white people are using, the same one that Strom Thurmond filibustered against when he set the record for a filibuster, even though he had a whole black child who he supported his entire life.
You remember that came out? I remember when that came out.
And guess who wasn't surprised? Anybody from the South.
Yeah.
None of the rest of y'all, like, no, we were like, yeah.
Why do you think I look like this?
Why do you think I got these lips? Donald, okay? Because my great grandmama was Native American. I tell you that much. That's not what happened. Somebody was quiet.
Woo-hoo!
That's why we look the way we look.
Yes, we should. Producer asking that. Yes, we should. Okay, so here's the winner for round 2, or the second group of contestants. Did I give the first one? I didn't even give the first one yet. Okay, so for the first group, here's what we have. Scott Bessent has 13%. Howard Lutnick has 25%. And Caroline Levitt has 62%.
Yeah.
All right. All right. And then so in round 2, Gretchen Whitmer has 4%. They were like, Gretchen was standing on business.
She's in.
Fox News had 41%.
Okay.
And Ron Vera, Peter Navarro, had 55%.
Accurate.
Okay.
Why you bringing up old stuff, girl? You know I love you. I don't understand why you acting like I ain't do everything that you had asked me to do. I'm like, I just asked you to pick up some wings. Who is this child?
Now, where should we include our producers? You want to put these two and get it, and then put our last dude in there, or should we add him to the mix and have 3 more people?
I think do all 3.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do all 3.
So the next 3 are we're gonna have Peter Navarro, Caroline Levitt, and then I'm going to show you who. It is going to be Kevin O'Leary, because folks were not feeling Kevin on this show, I guess. But he's in Shark Tank. He's Mr. Wonderful. This is why they didn't like him. Part of it, that they want him to be a sour lemon. Here it is.
I'm helping you with your Trump derangement syndrome. Let me interpret.
I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. Trust me. I'm not.
I'm helping you with your Trump derangement syndrome. Let me interpret.
I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. Trust me. I'm not. And again, listen, I'm not a Democrat, so don't even try it. I don't have Trump derangement, but I am a realist. I have eyes and ears.
He's celebrating entrepreneurship. These are individuals that obviously had positions in the indexes, in the markets, as I do. I've been watching my net worth vary by 20%, some days 5% in an hour, up and down. And I understand why that's happening. I've also learned in my life, you can't time the market. If you missed that upside yesterday, you basically left, 4.5% on the table. You're not going to get back maybe. So it's really a crazy time. And I agree with that. But trying to tie insider trading to market volatility, Don, I love you, honey, sweetie, poopsie, but it ain't going to happen. None of this stuff has any teeth, any traction. And right. I don't even think it'll get investigated because it's so obvious what happens here.
Kevin, sweetie, dearie, I'm just asking the questions. I mean, look, when you get major news
I'm answering you. No, it
asking,
doesn't bother me, and I don't think there's anything important here. That's what I think.
All right, pumpkin. All right, so let's. Go on.
One small question: what is Trump derangement syndrome?
You've never heard that term before?
Listen,
He has it. I mean, this was just projection. He has
I'm on a different part of the internet. I'm on TikTok looking at like coloring books. So I'm not. I'm in my craft room. We on different part. I'm looking at Dobke dancers, coloring books, and then I'm on a different part of TikTok. I don't see all that foolishness. And then my Christian quotes. I'm not seeing, and then just beautiful Middle Eastern men. So I don't know what we're talking about. Yemenis. Ooh, that's a beautiful man right there from Yemen. I'm about to learn Arabic. Them boys gorgeous out there. Ooh, I don't know what they speak, but man, is it Arabic? I don't know. I'll learn it. I'll read the opposite direction all day if that man is at the house. Don't care. Don't mind it all.
There is a universal language.
Titties.
You know what I'm saying.
Titties. Breath. That's universal. Everybody, listen, everybody speak the language of body. You see what I'm saying?
Body, yada, 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 yada.
All
right,
day,
I got
thank
it.
you to Megan Javon Ruth P. Y'all can't tell me nothing. So I understand. Listen, once we get to the nicknames, I was like, this man's being truly disrespectful. But what is he doing? He's following Trump's playbook, because what you're doing is you're distracting from the fact that you're not really saying anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to emasculate, I'm going to insult, and I'm going to sidetrack. Because he said he watched his net worth vary from 5 to 20%, and that didn't bother him. Why would I believe something like that? And then you want to call me honey, sweetie, poopsie. Sir, first of all, I'm a grown man watching you talking to. Second, that's when you was like pumpkin, dearie. Thank you, because he played himself.
Yeah.
You sound crazy. If you as a businessman should know that if anybody can make your net worth fluctuate that much during a day, they're not doing anything helpful. Because if it can fluctuate by 20, it can fluctuate by 50. Because he gonna lose money before anybody else. He sounded wild. I hope y'all put him up there, because he was. Don't come in somebody's house, okay, and then throw up on a good carpet. What you doing?
Okay, I think we're good. Don't you guys think? Do you guys think we're good?
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear.
Yes, we can
I think
declare
we're good. Okay.
Exact percentages?
Yes. I can see them. I'm back on the YouTube. It's a little delayed, but here we go. All right. Caroline Leavitt, 22%. Peter Navarro, Ron Vera, 22%. Kevin O'Leary, 56%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kevin O'Leary, sweetie, honey, baby, Pookie. Kevin O'Leary is this week's sour lemon. We didn't even have him in there. Who was the lemon head who suggested that we put him in there? Did we think about this before? Kevin was very disrespectful, honey, poopsie. WTF was he inferring?
Red Devil Raspberry's upset. Yeah.
Yes.
Red Devil Raspberry was upset. Kay Tremaine, it's very coded. It's very.
Yes.
That's very coded. That's very, and you don't want to say white supremacist, but it's very white privilege to come.
You don't think he was trying to say that I was a fruitcake or something?
Oh, absolutely. I think he was trying to say that you were gayer than a maypole. I think he was truly trying to come through and be a little bashing. I think that's what it was, but it was also, it's a Trump tactic, because if I can disrespect you and I can make you angry, then I can get you to forget your argument and forget your point. And then I'm in my feelings. And so now what you can do is go, well, don't get upset, sweetheart. I don't have to get upset when I get facts.
Yeah.
And I'm a fax machine. So don't play with me. You can dial it up and you can see the paper printout with pure facts on it. So it was a Trump tactic. Because because this is what I don't understand. The defending of the man, if you're watching him lose you money, then what are you defending? That's my question. With all this tariff stuff, why? I need things to make sense. Why are you trying to destabilize the entire global economy? Because if the people who are going to lose money the fastest are rich, poor people don't have to worry about economy collapsing. They don't have no money to start with. They don't have an economy. People already don't have money. So if the economy collapses, if the stock market crashes and you have no money in the stock market, now you have to look at the cause and effect of everybody else. But that's what I don't understand. Why is he messing rich people's money up?
Okay.
And then this goofy fool hopped on TV talking about poopsie honey. Friend, you sound crazy. And not in the mental health of it. It's the facts aren't connecting. Something is going on. It seems like, girl, listen, it just makes me think of the young lady from Paris is Burning. Like, you were overgrown orangutan. Like, the things are not what's going on here. So yes, it's he earned that. He earned it right. And for the fact that you get it after you've been on the show, friend, he should have had it the day he was on.
Well, here's the thing. People like to post stuff that they think makes them look good or funny or whatever. This is another exchange that we had that is on my social media as well. Here it is.
Posts globally, good time to buy.
You have no problem with a president telling people it's time to buy? I mean, you think that is appropriate for a president
What
to say?
I heard was a president that was a cheerleader for America.
Hold on, hang on, Kevin. Hold on. Just 1 second. I'm going to let you get it out. Can we just put the tweet back up? He's telling people to go buy, Kevin. Come on, man.
There's so much noise out there. This is just more noise and kind of irrelevant as far as I'm concerned.
You think it's irrelevant if there was some manipulation of the stock market? It's not like we haven't seen that before.
I don't think he's manipulating the stock market. And he's saying to everybody, look, hang in there. I'm trying to get something done that no one's been able to do. And there's going to be volatility. And you should be optimistic on America.
But if the stock market's going down, if you tell people to buy, then that'll make the stock market go back up.
Yeah.
Isn't that at the essence of insider trading?
Yeah. Well,
didn't y'all send Martha Stewart to jail for this?
Well, insider trading adjacent. They sent her, I think, for lying to prosecutors, but it wasn't actually insider trading. That's what I'm saying.
It wasn't insider trading, but y'all tried to take her down for something that did not happen. So, but doesn't him telling the American people to fix what he did that messed up the stock market? Your president shouldn't be telling you to go buy stocks. Am I wrong?
That's what I've been saying. That's what I said to him. Okay. So, Dulcé, just so you know, we have been nominated for a Webby Award. We've been nominated for a Webby Award specifically for our episode with Whoopi Goldberg was nominated for the best podcast episode with a featured guest. Best podcast episode with a featured guest with Whoopi Goldberg on the Webby Awards. Click the link in the chat. Did you guys put the link up there, producers? Is it in the top of the chat?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so go in the top of this chat that you're watching us on the YouTube and go click on to vote for the Don Lemon Show, the Whoopi Goldberg episode. You got it? Are you going in there?
Yeah, somebody said it. I'm going right now. I just have to turn the sound off on my phone so we don't make like a weird feedback loop.
So go vote for us. We love having Dulcé Sloan on. By the way, our Sour Lemon of the Week is none other than Mr. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful.
I didn't even know that was his
Shark Tank.
name.
Yes, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. He's our Sour Lemon of the Week. So go vote for it. Also, if you look up now on the social, I'll talk to you guys about this after Dulcé is out here. Dulcé, thank you for joining us. Tell us where we can find you.
I will be Poopsie Honey Pumpkin. Poopsie.
Where are you, booby pookie, sweetie?
Oh, the disrespect. I am. You can find me at dulcesloan.com because I'm on tour right now. I'm doing my Horizon tour. I've got shows coming up in Nashville, in St. Louis, and in Austin, Texas. I am back on the road, and I am working on my new hour because I'm working on getting a special together. And so also I do the voice of Honeybee on the Great North. Season 5 just started. So I'm very excited about that. But you can look at yes, I am just trying to make it happen. I'm trying to make sure my mother never works at Amazon ever again. Thank you. I'm going to be in Dallas. I'm going to be in Pennsylvania. I'm going to be in Tulsa and Fort Worth. So I got dates lined up until the end of the year. You can find them on my website, dulcesloan.com. Thank y'all so much for having me. I'm so glad to come back and talk back to my brother, Donisha Lemon.
Thank you. You said, are you a lemon head now? Are you part of the Lemon Nation?
Yeah, because remember when we were doing, I did not know that this was a clip. I didn't know it was on TV when it was happening. But when you had your lemon head Mardi Gras beads.
Oh, right.
They had an interstitial clip, and I didn't know I was on TV at that point, but I was just picking them up and tossing them and singing Gucci Mane's Lemon Yellow song. So it was like, lemon yellow chains with the V cut. And it's just a quick clip of me just singing Gucci Mane, lightly throwing lemon Mardi Gras beads at people, and I still have my beads. So
can you please tell them what you said to me before the show so they know about how great our community is, what people are saying about us?
Oh, let me tell you something. I told Donald Ezekiel Lemon that he is going to be the next Ted Turner. Truly. He was like, why do people keep saying that to me? I was like, why are people encouraging you? Why are people looking at you be successful? Because the thing is, I know so many people questioned when you left your job, and they were like, well, what's his next step going to be? What's his next step going to be? And you are creating a space for yourself where you do not have to look to people to get permission to talk about the things you want to talk about. But also you have to know that you have created a noteworthy career and a reputation for yourself when you go, hey, will you come on my show that I'm self-producing, that is streaming on YouTube, that people look for your show, and you have created a space for yourself where people want to come and talk to you. So there's a lot of people that want to be doing what you are doing, but you created a place for yourself. So now you don't have to look to a network to understand what you're doing. You can go out, and because based off of you, it's not, oh, I'm with this network trying to get into this convention or that convention or that event. It's Don Lemon, the Don Lemon Show. This is my show. This is my credentials.
Lemon Channel, the Lemon Media Network.
All of that. This is the Lemon Media conglomerate. You're going to have your own building. You're going to have your own studio. You're going to have your own building where you create, and so you can have this place for you and for other people, because we don't have unbiased media anymore, because the president is literally trying to retaliate against people who are speaking against him when it is their constitutional right as a politician and as an American to speak against the president. This is not a fascist country. This is not communism. You cannot say you were trying to fight fascism and communism when you were doing fascist and communist things. So you were creating a place to be able to have, they don't control the internet, right? No single white man owns the internet. I don't know why not. I've lived in America my whole life. I don't know why there's not a single one, but hey, they let that slip through their fingers. So now you can have this space where you can talk to people directly. People are looking for you as somebody who is telling them the truth, because all you're trying to do is just understand what's going on. Because that is a job of a reporter to do, is to go, well, what's happening under here? What's happening over here? Let me find out who this press secretary and this other person is, to explain to people, because that is your life's work. So we need you to be able to come on here and go, hey, this is what happened. And the fact that no one's running from an interview from you means that you were actually letting people have a place to speak and to talk and to be truthful about what is going on. Because anybody that's afraid to tell the truth and to talk to you is not going to come on your show. So that's all.
Dulcé, I love you. Thank you. And by the way, I received that.
Good. Because I'm telling you, I cannot wait to walk in your studio and see all the big pictures that they have. You know, when you walk into like Tyler Perry Studios and he have all the pictures from the different movies that he made.
From my different shows.
Yes. And so you can walk into the lobby of Don Lemon Studios conglomerate, edu.com.couk. Okay. And Don Lemon got all the pictures from all the interviews that he did on the Don Lemon Network. Okay. On the Lemon Network, right? It's going to be a streaming service. It's going to be everything. Listen, you have generations of your family will eat, because Don Lemon did the work this generation to make sure that people know what's going on.
I think we need to do a show. You need to do a show on this network called It Finna Be.
It finna be. Listen, let me tell you something. Y'all didn't know the girl could prophesize, okay? You did not know that she was out here speaking life into Don Lemon.
We finna be what? We finna be.
Listen, we finna be outside of what we finna be is resting because I'm learning that fan dance. Okay, that's what I'm learning because America has shown me that there is nothing that I can do that will stop them from being as evil as they want to be. So all I can do is just watch America do what it does. Because what no one's paying attention to the fact is there's checks and balances, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not following the rules. And I think that's why Black people are taking a second to go, okay, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Because we know the rules better than anybody. Because our parents made sure that we had to know the rules so we could navigate and survive. So you're dealing with people who've never had to live in survival mode. So now they don't understand why the man that they voted for is trying to kill them. All of this, you got rid of USAID. Who's suffering? Farmers in the Midwest who voted for you. You're going to end up like France, and you're going to end up with a bunch of tractor trailers showing up to the White House. Because like I said at the beginning of this, if they were January 6th for you, they were January 6th against you. Because you were making it to where people cannot eat. You're making it where people cannot pay their bills and they cannot feed their children. People who are doing well don't have revolutions. It doesn't happen. So all he is doing is pissing off all these veterans that he done hung out to dry. You've seen all the clips from these town halls, and these veterans are standing up and saying, why are you doing this to me? Why am I losing my benefits? I fought for this country. And this is white men standing up talking to white politicians that they voted for, going, why are you stripping me of my livelihood? And they have no answers. One of them ran out. The other one they called the police on the man and had him dragged out of the town hall. So no, I'm not going to march. I ain't going to march. I don't have to. Because you're pissing off the wrong people. You're pissing off the people who need mental health. That's who you're pissing off. You're stopping veterans who have way too much training from the U.S. government from getting the resources that they need. So I ain't got to march because you made the wrong folks mad. And I'm just waiting for the right veteran to have the right day and have the right conversation.
I gotta go. I love you. I'll see you here soon. Thank you, Dulcé. Thank you, Dulcé Sloan. Make sure you check her out. Go and check her out. Google her and find out where she's going to be. Look, she speaks the truth. She speaks what's on her mind. What a week it's been. I'm glad you guys like my little. Tell me what you think of my little sign here. There's my picture of my hubby, some lemon heads, and my little lemon. Anyway, so on Fridays, we like to have a little bit of fun, but we also like to get the news in. Seriously, I want you to go to the Webby link at the top, vote for us. Also become a member. Thank you so much for gifting memberships. Thank you, Jane R. Because of her generosity, 5 people get to become members of the Lemon Nation. And welcome to all of our new members. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's at the bottom of the screen. I think it's near the Don Lemon thing. Maybe it's on the other side. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my thing is mirrored, but it's at the bottom of the screen. So go make sure you subscribe there. Lena S., thank you for becoming a member. Can Dulcé come back at least once a week? We're going to try and see if we can get Dulcé to come back. We've been trying to get her. She's very busy. Obsessed. She's amazing, says East Maine. Do you guys like our Friday little sour lemon? This is a fun day that we have. If there was something big and breaking, we would bring it to you. But here we go. Thank you, Beverly Rabin, for your support. And thank you, all the lemon heads. Again, we love it that you're here. We love your support. By the way, I'm serious about this stuff. Someone said earlier, Don, I love that you are picking sponsors that you agree with and that can actually help people. So I believe in the Freedom from Religion Foundation because I think that we live in a democratic republic and not a theocracy. And I don't think that people should be pushing their religious beliefs on you. There's a reason that our founding fathers chose to have a separation of church and state. So go to ffrf.us/freedom, ffrf.us/freedom, or text my first name, Don, to 511-511 and become a member of the Freedom from Religion Foundation today. Also, betterhelp.com. If you need some mental health talk, someone to help you deal with some stuff, go to betterhelp.com, betterhelp.com/Don Lemon. Okay? So, everyone, I'm going to see you back here. Maybe I'll see you this weekend. I'm also going to see you back here. But for sure on Monday at 10 a.m. I'll probably do some stuff over the weekend. Welcome DJ LV as a new member. Welcome Patrick Bennett to the Elimination. Again, welcome to all of our new members, and thank you for your support. And you guys know, as I'm about to get out of here, what am I about to say as I'm about to get out of here, out of these streaming streets right now? I'm about to go and have a Friday night with my other half and some friends. We're going to have a nice dinner, going to walk somewhere fun and go do something. What did someone say? Oh, are you guys there? Can you hear me, producers, real quick? Can you put up the Substack, please?
I got it, Nikki.
Yeah, because you guys can grab it. I want to just put that up so that, there you go. So Substack, and then bring up the site. Actually, I want you to show the Wendy page, and then we're gonna do something on Wendy tonight at 8:00. Right? Is that correct? It drops tonight.
Yes, it is. It'll be redirected right after this, and it will be live at 8:00.
I'm going to talk to you about my dinner with Wendy last night. So if you get the Substack up, anyway, I just wanted to show you guys it. There it is, right there.
Substack is up. The link.
There it is. Yeah, there it is. Oh, the link is up. Okay, great. And then here's the thing right here, and it says Wendy Williams, without apology, what one dinner taught me about aging, reinvention, and how women are expected to disappear. I had a real epiphany last night as I had dinner with Wendy. And I think it's something that you want to read. So go to donlemon.com. Just go to donlemon.com and it'll take you right to my Substack. Okay. And support us there as well. All right, guys. As I say every single time, you guys know, check that out, donlemon.com. And look at I love my home studio now. It's a little crazy, but it's me. I love it. Would you guys say it was very, Michael Mann, producers? Very
it's giving Miami Vice.
It's giving Miami Vice. I'm gonna get some more palm trees in, but I love it. I love the colors. I think it's fun. I'm just trying and testing things out. No, I like it.
No, I say with no judgment. And as we talked about on the members only show last night, everyone loves it too. It's great vibes.
Great vibes. We are happy here. We try to give some good vibes, but we bring you the real truth. Okay, everyone. So thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to see you again, 10 a.m. Eastern. Go check out all of our stuff. Thank you for following us on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. And then, of course, check us out on Spotify, iHeart, and Apple Podcast. Okay? And then, we're here on the YouTube. Make sure you become a member. Turn the TV off. Have a great weekend. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never, ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.